Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to tonight's top stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window on this final day of September. And yeah, more smoke, especially up in the Upper Valley. This our Kaler Glen Lake Wenatchee Sky-Fi Tower camera. You can see the golf course anyway. Earlier this week, you couldn't see anything up that way, even parts of the lake today. But we still did have to put up with a little bit of that haze throughout the day today, but we are in for a beautiful stretch of weather today right through all of next week, it looks like, with mostly sunny to sunny skies, upper 70s to mid 80s for highs. And here at home, we will see low temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. And we'll talk more about this nice weather coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the news stories we're following for you tonight. One man is pleaded guilty in federal court to his part in an alleged fentanyl ring operating right here in the Wenatchee Valley. An Everett man was arrested Thursday night after allegedly throwing debris onto Highway 2 and setting a small fire just 1 mile east of Leavenworth. And U.S. Highway 2 was reopened last night with reduced speed limits in some areas, and Bolt Creek fire managers warning there are still active fire areas. But first, our top story tonight. 2 East Wenatchee men are charged with sexually abusing the same child when the alleged victim was 12 to 13 years old. 31-year-old Michael Aviles Espinoza and 24-year-old Kenneth R. Crisp were both charged on Monday in Douglas County Superior Court with more than a dozen felonies each, including child rape, sexual exploitation of a minor, and possession of child pornography. The alleged crimes date back to 2020 when both men allegedly had sex with the victim on separate occasions and exchanged multiple text messages with her, including explicit photos and videos. The cases came to light after the child and her family moved to Idaho, where she was allegedly victimized by yet another suspect. Idaho State Patrol detectives reached out to Douglas County Sheriff's deputies who pursued the investigation locally. Espinoza and Crisp were arrested September 21st by the Columbia River Drug Task Force. Both men face arraignment next week. One man is pleaded guilty in federal court to his part in an alleged fentanyl ring operating in the Wenatchee Valley. 44-year-old Nabil David Akhdari entered a plea yesterday in Spokane to possessing 40 grams of fentanyl with intent to distribute. Akhdari was arrested in a Wenatchee hotel in early June with about 1,500 fentanyl pills, a large supply of methamphetamine, and a 9mm pistol. He was charged alongside 27-year-old Tyson J. Horner of Wenatchee and 35-year-old Brandon Daniel Lux of Yakima. Horner is also charged in federal court with fentanyl possession with intent. Both he and Lux still await trial. Akhdari is due to be sentenced in January, where he could face up to 5 years in prison. Meanwhile, an Everett man was arrested yesterday after allegedly throwing debris onto Highway 2 and setting a small fire just 1 mile east of Leavenworth. Washington State Patrol troopers and Chelan County Sheriff's deputies arrested 29-year-old Colin Ray Anderson about 8:30 p.m. The roadside fire was quickly suppressed, but Anderson allegedly kicked out the window of a state patrol car and fled into an orchard. Police soon found Anderson and took him back into custody. He remained jailed this afternoon, facing possible charges including disorderly conduct, reckless endangerment, escape, and obstruction. U.S. Highway 2 was reopened last night with reduced speed limits in some areas, and Bolt Creek fire managers are warning there are still active fire areas. After being closed for 2 weeks, the highway was reopened last Saturday, only to be closed again Monday as the fire burned near the roadway, creating fallen trees and debris. The highway was reopened last night just after 7, but crews continue to do cleanup work along the highway, and that work's happening between mileposts 46 and 50 outside Skycomish. The Washington State Patrol said the reduced speed limits in the work areas will be strictly enforced. The incident management team on the fire said this morning that it's 28% contained and has burned more than 12,000 acres since first being reported back on September 10th. Well, when we come back, gas prices are once again averaging more than $5 a gallon in Chelan and Douglas counties after weeks of declines much of this summer. The Wenatchee School District is settled on 2 possible recruitment firms to conduct its search for a new superintendent. The City of Moses Lake says staff turnover in its finance department led to hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of accounting errors in one of its revolving funds. And the Chelan County Fire Marshal is temporarily extending current fire restrictions through at least October 15th. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
I've been in law enforcement for over 36 years, and I've seen a lot of politicians talk about police. But Kim Schreier is different. She listens to us, and she delivers. It's Kim who got more money for law enforcement to fund equipment that we need, like new bulletproof vests, and more funding for mental health resources for an integrated approach to serve our community.
We need to increase funding to police, and that's exactly what I've done in Congress.
Kim has our back, and she has my support.
I'm Kim Schreier, and I approve this message.
Welcome back. In another news, gas prices are once again averaging more than $5 a gallon in Chelan and Douglas counties. That after weeks of declines much of this summer. AAA said the average price of a gallon of regular unleaded gas was at $5.11 a gallon in Chelan County and just over $5 a gallon in Douglas County. The price in Wenatchee has risen more than 40 cents a gallon in the past week. The average price per gallon in Washington state is $5.23 a gallon, far above the national average of $3.79 a gallon. The Wenatchee School District has settled on 2 possible recruitment firms to conduct its search for a new superintendent. School board members on Tuesday said those 2 rose to the top out of 6 firms that offered to carry out that search. The district has had an interim superintendent since Dr. Paul Gordon left the post at the end of June.
Martin and I spent quite a few hours in several meetings discussing HRP in detail. And on behalf of the committee, we are recommending Northwest Leadership Associates and McPherson and Jacobson to be interviewed. All of the firms confirmed the ability to perform the scope of the work, but we felt that these 2 firms performed better in the criteria. We are confident in both firms, yet between the 2, we feel that they each have different strengths and different characteristics that fit the needs of the district. One of the firms is dominant in our area, while the other has national experience. Both firms understand the uniqueness of our district and rate very well. The cost factor between the 2 firms is neutral, and the estimated cost allows for the district to be fiscally responsible as well.
The City of Moses Lake says staff turnover in its finance department led to hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of accounting errors in one of its revolving funds. The Washington State Auditor found that Moses Lake Equipment Rental and Revolving Fund overcharged some departments to pay for purchases and rental of equipment and vehicles and undercharged others in 2019 and 2020. That included errors such as charging $550,000 from the city's water and sewer fund for equipment that only cost $356,000. The city says it lacked enough personnel and training to reconcile expenses and revenue during those years. It's establishing a policy on how to manage the revolving fund and avoid future mistakes. The Chelan County Fire Marshal is temporarily extending current fire restrictions through at least October 15th or until wildfire conditions ease. Current conditions have the fire hazard level at high in both the county's valley and mountain zones. Stage 2 restrictions remain in place. They include not allowing open yard burning of waste or in fire pits or traveling off of the county roadway. This is the first time since 2012 that a resolution for an extension will be presented to commissioners who are expected to sign it on Monday. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
Football, school, cooler temps. It's almost fall, and what better way to celebrate than with the Fall Kickoff Savings Event at Click It RV. We've got to make room for new inventory, which means you'll save up to 30% off with no money down, 90 days to first payment, and lifetime warranties. With the best floor plans and many options under $40,000, there's never been a better time to buy. Visit us today on Frontage Road off I-90 in Moses Lake, or go to clickitrv.com.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's features story, the Okanagan Street Community Garden in Wenatchee is taking shape with raised garden beds scheduled to go in next spring. Wenatchee Parks Recreation and Cultural Services Director Dave Erickson talked with Wake Up Wenatchee Valley's Dan Kuntz about the challenges the project has presented and what's ahead.
We're in the process of finishing up phase 1, which is putting in the outside landscaping and getting all the utilities in. You can see the fences starting to go up. And then next year coming back in with phase 2, which would build the approximately 40 raised garden beds, put water to all of those beds, put in the walkways, and then also a shed and a few other amenities. Not only do we have setbacks all the way around on a triangle-shaped piece, so it really narrows down what you can do, but once you start scratching the surface down here, it was solid bedrock almost everywhere. So we had a really difficult time even getting irrigation in the ground. So it's a good thing we're doing raised beds because we can't really go down below.
A lot of big boulders. You found huge boulders,
Yes.
the size of cars down there that you probably didn't know were there.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they were huge. The end of the property, under the sidewalks, all the way out, completely full of rock.
Did that mess up with the timeline at all, or you just kind of we got to get rid of them one way or the other?
Yeah, no, it actually worked out just fine. We were planning on doing this project late summer, early fall, and here we are, and we're pretty close to being done with this phase. We do, yeah, so it'll be a reservation based, just like we have with our other community garden program, and people are super excited and interested about doing this, so hopefully we'll have more space so gardeners can get out and really enjoy and grow some locally owned produce.
Let's take a look now at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you had a great Friday. The weekend is upon us, and yes, once again, hazy, smoky skies throughout most of our area. This is our Monitor Sky-Fi Tower camera looking up the upper valley, and that's where most of the heavier smoke has been throughout the week. Today, a little bit better as far as you could go outside and breathe without smelling that smoke, but we could sure see it out there. 77, our unofficial high temperature today. Our normal now is down to 70 degrees, so 7 degrees above where we should be. 85, our record high set back in 1970. Our low this morning, 55. Our normal low, 48 degrees, and our record all the way down to 34, and that was set in 1985. Sunrise now, almost 7 a.m. and sunset is at 6:42. Taking a look at our Saturday temperatures, this might be the most boringly good forecast you're ever going to see because it's not going to seem like the 1st of October. Today, the final day of September. And here you go as we kick off October tomorrow. 81 in Moses Lake and Ephrata. 80 for Quincy and right here in Wenatchee. Also 80s up the Highway 97 corridor. Omak, the warm spot tomorrow at a beautiful 82 degrees. And we aren't expecting hardly anything as far as wind goes as high pressures beginning to build tonight. There is low pressure out in the Pacific, but it's just going to get cut off from the mainland as this high pressure begins to build. Here we go on Saturday. Sunny skies and warmer, as we mentioned, with highs generally around that 80-degree mark as we kick off the weekend. Getting you into the end of the weekend, it's going to get even a little bit warmer. Sunny, we'll see high temperatures, low to possibly mid-80s for high temperatures on Sunday. There's that ridge once again, and just a dome of heat underneath that. Unseasonably mild weather will continue as we kick off our next work week on Monday with high temperatures again in the lower 80s. I'm going to sound like a broken record because we're not changing much as we make our way through the week. Warm on Tuesday as well. Again, high temperatures in the low 80s. We're going to be flirting with record highs throughout next week. Low pressure once again beginning to try and push in, but this ridge is so strong. We're going to continue with that nice weather on Wednesday with high temperatures in the low 80s. And at the end of our forecast, more of the same, mostly sunny skies, and we are going to see unseasonably warm temperatures with highs again into those lower 80s. Let's take a look now at that 7-day forecast. It's not going to change much. 56 overnight tonight for our weekend. Sunny on both Saturday and Sunday. Should be fantastic to get outside for any kind of outdoor activities. I'm going to the Mariner game tomorrow. That should be fun. 80 on Saturday, 83 Sunday. And look at that forecast. Monday right through Tuesday. Mostly sunny to sunny skies each day with high temperatures in the lower 80s. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Fellow Chelan County residents, this is Sean Smith. As a local business owner, I understand the increasing challenges of survival. And as a father of 4, I understand the need for a safe environment for our families. As a lifetime resident, I am seeing changes that are not productive or safe. As your next county commissioner, I will work diligently to make sure things get better. County commissioners face a lot more than just community development, and you must be prepared to work on all levels of county government. I am ready, willing, and capable, and would ask for your vote.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units.
Hi folks, welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chase on the other side. We can move this
Great, I want that one. I like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
news, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCW Life channel.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a happy finally Friday. The Mariners walked off a win against Texas in 11 innings last night, 10-9 to lower their magic number to 1. The Balls were leaving T-Mobile Park last night a ton, while Mitch Haniger was hitting 2 home runs in the early frames last night, his 8th and 9th of the season. Oh yeah, good to have Mitch back and swinging well. Jared Kelenic also hit 2 home runs last night, his 6th and 7th. By the way, the Rangers were also hitting 4 dingers of their own. Seesaw battle will go to extra innings with each team scoring a run in the 10th and Texas taking a 9-8 lead in the 11th. That's when Seattle, Luis Torrens and J.P. Crawford came through.
Into right field, base hit, tied game. Kelenic is in to score. Dylan Moore is second. Luis Torrens. There's something about extra innings with this guy. He likes to let the ball travel, and he does exactly that. It's the fastball in the middle of the plate. Let it travel, get deep into the strike zone, and a solid line drive base hit to tie this ball game up. Dylan Moore making the right decision not to try to go to third on Garcia. Off the glove of Young! Dylan Moore's coming home, and the Mariners win it! The magic number is down to 1! The home runs, and then it was just picking up base hits. I think that's the biggest victory dance so far, full team. It's a 26-man dance, and Chaos Ball reigns supreme again for the Mariners. There are some really good at-bats in that inning, I'm telling you that right now. Really good at that. He already swings and misses, and he's going to hit a line drive. At Young, the third baseman, is still playing in, and it goes right off the end of his glove. And that's your ball game. Wow.
They did rule that a hit, by the way. Manager Scott Servais says not exactly how he'd draw it up, but loves the fight in his players.
We're getting closer. What a ball game. A little bit of everything, all kinds of hitting, all kinds of home runs. It's about as wild. And those games happen at the end of the year. It's just crazy, teams back and forth, and the Rangers swung the bat really well tonight. But our guys answered the call. The 2 home runs by Haney, great night by Jared Kelenic. Gino continues to get big hits. Dylan Moore played a great game. We ran the bases well. We did a lot of good things tonight. Uncharacteristically, our bullpen gave up some runs tonight, and that hasn't been the case. Those guys have been so steady for us all year long. But it happens, and that's what good teams do. You pick each other up.
Seattle turns around to meet Oakland in the first of 3 games tonight at 6:40. That's on Root Sports Northwest. Well, Mariners moved a half game ahead of Tampa Bay for the second wildcard spot after the Rays fell to Cleveland 2-1. Baltimore dropped 5 games back after a 5-3 loss to Boston. Toronto idled but clinched the playoff spots with the other games being played. Well, break out your tiaras, polish up the convertible. It's homecoming time. Eastmont hosts Sunnyside tonight at Wildcat Stadium during homecoming week. We'll have the game live here with yours truly and Paul Collard on the call starting at 6:30. Coach Michael Don says his club has been able to compartmentalize homecoming festivities and be able to focus on football.
You know what? Our kids have been pretty dialed in this week. I thought last year we got hit with the homecoming bug, which, it's tough. It's hard. A lot of things going on, school, social aspect. Kids are kind of all over the place. But we talked about it. That was our main emphasis from Monday with our guys was, hey, we got to be dialed in this week. We got to be where we are. I'm not asking you to be football all day, all the time. When you're at homecoming, you're at homecoming. You're in class, But when you're here from 3:30 to 5:30, we are football players.
Sunnyside's coming off a 41-20 win over West Valley last Friday, while Eastmont has even its record with 2 big wins in a row. During that time, Wildcats have reeled off one big scoring play after another. Don says he hopes that trend continues.
We're hoping we can maintain getting explosive. I don't know if we'll, it's hard to maintain how explosive we've been the last few games. We're averaging an astronomical amount per play. We haven't run a lot of plays in the last few games. I think between the two, we counted it up, and I think our varsity has run like 53 offensive plays in 2 weeks. So that's not a lot. Sunnyside ran 80 in their last game. We don't think it's going to be that kind of game, but we do think we got some explosive potential. We're getting some things figured out up front, and we're hoping we can get some explosive plays on them, especially in the passing game, and then, grind it out as much as we can too.
Eastmont Sunnyside right here coming up. The other Big Nine action tonight. Wenatchee's on the road at Moses Lake to take on the defending league champs. Coach Scott Devereaux says the Mavericks might be without their starting quarterback, Brock Clark.
Same thing we've been seeing since last season. They're going to spread it out, throw it around the yard a little bit. Their quarterback got injured late in the game last week, and they put in probably the fastest athlete in the Big Nine, or pretty close to it, in a quarterback. So, we looked at working on containment of him, and he's really good. He's really fast. He plays corner, plays receiver, and defensively they're pretty much an odd front team, and they've given up some yards this year, probably more than they want to. But with the speed they have, they seem to always kind of make up for it. They're really fast.
Devereaux says he and his staff have been working with their players this week on not getting caught up in the moment, especially when it comes to calls that don't go their way.
Yeah, and we know when we go on the road, it's tougher. Moses Lake is kind of notorious for having a home field advantage. And so we're prepared for that. We talked about it Monday, and I reminded them this week, don't be surprised if we rip off a big play and it comes back. Let's focus on what's important now is the next play. And if I can keep my composure, I think that helps the players keep theirs.
Wenatchee Moses Lake kickoff at 7 o'clock. Another Big Night action. Davis is at Eisenhower, while West Valley travels to Hermiston. Caribou Trail League tonight. Quincy visits Cascade in Peshastin. Cashmere has another non-league game. They're on the road at Ephrata. Chelan is on the road at Omak. B-League football actually kicked off earlier today. Entiat visiting Yakima Tribal. Okanagan's hosting Oroville. Also Manson at Tanaska. Waterville Mansfield hosts Soap Lake, and Lake Roosevelt plays at Brewster. Turning to the Les Schwab Prep Girls Soccer scoreboard from last night. Let's get a few for you. Cascade blank Quincy 5-0. Cashmere got by Omak 3-1. Ellensburg stopped Ephrata 3-1. Liberty Bell rolled over Oroville 10-1, and Brewster beat Manson 6-1. Coming up tomorrow, Omak hosts Manson at 11. Ephrata visits Grandview at noon, while Tanaska takes on Mount Vernon Christian. 1 o'clock games have Moses Lake at Wenatchee, and we'll have that one live here on the NCWLIFE channel. That's sports. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up Monday morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. The next time we get to visit on Monday, it'll be October. As Grant already told you, it ain't going to feel like October, but the big story next week, it looks like, is going to be the very smoky and hazy conditions, which are really going to affect a lot of people. We'll have your latest air quality forecast and your smoke forecast on Monday morning's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Highlights of the weekend that will happen in sports. We'll have your latest news and everything else to get your day going. I invite you to start your day live and local with this program. We're live at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Have a great weekend. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for being with us, and have a great first weekend of October.
The NCWLIFE channel offers marketing packages that help you build your brand and sell your products and services. From traditional TV ads to targeted digital campaigns, let us help you build your customer base. Call NCWLIFE channel today.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellingson here from Live It Up. Join us every week as we answer your questions on health, wealth, and relationships.
We're all about you creating a life that you love, so tune in to Live It Up.
Watch Vibrant Living, brought to you by the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. Find out about programs and activities for ages 50 and over, and meet amazing seniors who contribute to our community. New episodes Sundays at 1:30 p.m., replayed throughout the week on the NCWLIFE channel.